The Saints are on the clock, and the pressure is mounting, because making the wrong choice at number 8 could set this franchise back for years. We are talking about a high-stakes gamble that has every fan in New Orleans holding their breath right now. If we pick a player who cannot stay on the field, the entire season is at risk before it even begins. You need to stay tuned because this decision changes everything for our offense. Before we dive into the details, make sure you hit that subscribe button to stay updated on every major Saints move. Jordyn Tyson is the name that is suddenly on everyone's lips as the draft approaches, and his rise has been nothing short of explosive lately. Just a couple of weeks ago, most experts had him ranked much lower in the middle of the first round because they were worried. People were looking at his time at Arizona State and Colorado, and they saw a pattern of injuries that made them very nervous about his durability. But something has changed in the last few days because the buzz around the league says the Saints are now eyeing him for that 8th overall pick. It is a massive jump for a player who was once considered a secondary option, but his talent is hard to ignore when he is healthy. We are seeing reports that his recent pro day was so impressive that it erased many of those lingering doubts for the front office scouts. The big question remains whether taking a chance on a young man with a history of getting hurt is too big of a risk for a team that needs immediate help. We have heard from local reporters who say the energy in the building is shifting toward this dynamic playmaker because of his high ceiling. If the top-rated running backs and other receivers are already off the board by the time we pick, he becomes the most logical choice for the black and gold. This isn't just about adding a body to the room, it is about finding a game-changer who can stretch the field and score touchdowns. Many fans are torn because they remember past draft busts who couldn't stay healthy, and they don't want to see history repeat itself on such a big stage. However, the potential reward of having a true number 1 target is tempting enough that the Saints might just pull the trigger on him. We are looking at a situation where the team has to decide if his speed and playmaking ability outweigh the medical red flags that have followed him. It is the kind of move that either makes a general manager look like a genius or costs people their jobs if it goes wrong. As an insider, I can tell you the conversations are getting intense as the draft room prepares for every possible scenario on draft night. We have to be ready for anything because this pick will define the next few years of Saints football for our city. Shough is the man who needs help more than anyone else on this roster right now because a quarterback is only as good as the targets he has. When we look at how this young quarterback fits into the system, it is clear that he needs a reliable weapon who can win one-on-one matchups down the field. This young passer has shown he has the arm talent to succeed, but he cannot do it all by himself without a primary vertical threat. Adding a player like the one we are discussing would give the prospect a safety net and a dangerous weapon at the same time. This young quarterback thrives when he can trust his receivers to go up and get the ball in contested situations during big games. The front office knows that if they want their leader to take the next step, they must surround him with elite talent immediately. This young quarterback is at a point in his career where stability and explosive plays are the two things that will help him win. The fit between the passer and a new dynamic receiver seems almost perfect on paper because of how their skills complement each other well. We have seen what happens when this young quarterback has time to throw, but he needs guys who can actually get open against professional secondaries. This young quarterback would benefit greatly from having a teammate who demands double teams and opens up the rest of the field for others. It is all about creating an environment where the prospect can feel comfortable taking shots down the sideline without worrying about mistakes. If the team decides to go in this direction, it shows they are fully committed to building around the strengths of their current signal caller. This young quarterback is the future of the franchise, and every decision made in the draft must be viewed through the lens of his development. We want to see him succeed and lead this team back to the playoffs, but that requires a supporting cast that can perform. This young quarterback has the poise and the vision, yet he lacks that one dominant force on the outside to keep defenses honest. By drafting a top-tier receiver, the Saints are sending a clear message that they believe in their leader and want to give him everything. It is a crucial moment for the development of this young quarterback as he prepares for the biggest season of his life and career right now. This could help them win more games immediately because a high-powered offense is the fastest way to turn a season around for a struggling franchise. When you have a player who can score from anywhere on the field, it changes the way opposing coaches have to plan for your team. The risk of failure is always there when you spend a top pick on a player with medical concerns, but the upside is huge. If this pick works out, the Saints will have a scoring machine that keeps the chains moving and puts points on the board. We are talking about a direct impact on the win column that every fan will be able to see on Sunday. If the team ignores the need for a playmaker, they risk falling behind in a very competitive division where everyone is getting faster. This decision matters right now because the window to compete is not going to stay open forever for this group of players. We need to see a sense of urgency from the front office because playing it safe has not worked well in recent years. Simple outcomes are what we are looking for, like more touchdowns and fewer punts during the most critical moments of the game. This move would signify a shift toward a more aggressive style of football that fans in New Orleans have been craving for years. The consequence of missing on this pick would be devastating because it would leave the offense stuck in the same old patterns. We want to see a team that can compete with the best in the league, and that starts with having elite talent. The impact of a star receiver goes beyond just the stats because it lifts the spirits of the entire locker room and the city. It creates a feeling of excitement that makes every game feel like a must-watch event for the people who love this team. We are tired of seeing the offense stall out in the red zone when they need a big play to win. This is the chance to fix that problem once and for all by bringing in a player who can truly finish. Every game matters in the NFL, and having a game breaker on the roster makes the path to the playoffs much easier to navigate. This is about the future of the organization and whether they are brave enough to take a big swing today. If this works out perfectly, the Saints will have found the next great superstar receiver who will dominate the league for the next decade. Imagine a scenario where every single pass thrown his way turns into a huge gain or a spectacular touchdown that electrified the crowd. The best-case scenario is that his past injuries stay in the past and he becomes the most reliable target in the entire league. He could win Rookie of the Year and lead the team deep into the postseason while breaking records along the very way. But if it fails, the consequences will be harsh for everyone involved in making this decision at the 8th overall pick. A worst-case scenario involves him spending more time in the training room than on the grass during the most important games. If his body cannot handle the speed and the power of the professional game, the pick will be seen as a waste. The tension is high because we have seen this story before, with other players who had all the talent but no luck. Fans are worried that the team is gambling with the future of the franchise on a player who might be fragile. If he gets hurt again, the offense will crumble, and the quarterback will be left without the help he desperately needs. The pressure on the front office is immense because they cannot afford another draft bust at such a high position. We are all waiting to see which version of the story comes true when the lights are the brightest on Sunday. If he stays healthy, he is a hero who saved the season and brought joy back to the fans in New Orleans. If he does not, he will be remembered as another what-if story that haunts the franchise for many years to come. The line between success and failure is very thin in this league, and this pick is right on that edge. We feel the nerves building up as draft day gets closer because the stakes truly could not be any higher than this. It is a high-risk and high-reward situation that will define the legacy of the current leadership group for a long time. We want to believe in the talent, but the fear of another injury is always lingering in the back of our minds forever. To wrap things up, the New Orleans Saints are facing a massive dilemma that could define their entire season before it even starts. They have the chance to grab a potentially elite playmaker in Jordyn Tyson, but his injury history is a shadow that follows him everywhere. Taking him at number 8 is a bold move that shows a lot of confidence in their medical staff and their scouting department. If it pays off, the offense will be unstoppable, but if it fails, the critics will be loud and very persistent. We have to decide if the reward of a true star is worth the risk of a player who might struggle to stay healthy. Be honest with me right now, would you trust a player with this many past injuries with such a high draft pick? It is a tough question that has the entire fan base divided as we get closer to the big night. I want to hear your thoughts in the comments below because your opinion matters to this community. Make sure to like this video and subscribe to the channel with notifications turned on so you never miss an update. We are in this together.